Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Easy Class with Amir. In this video we shall study Chapter 7 of Study of Language, Grammar. So, what is grammar? Grammar can be defined as the rules which specify the sequence of parts of speech to construct the structure of phrases and sentence in a language. In previous chapter, Morphology, we dealt with the analysis of the structural elements called morphemes of words, like walk, walking, walker. But in grammar, we shall be concerning with the analysis of the structure of phrase and sentence. We know any sentence or a phrase is formed by the combination of grammatical categories of words called the parts of speech, such as nouns, pronouns, verbs and adjectives, etc. For example, the sentences "The lucky boys found a package in the park" contains an article "the," an adjective "lucky," a pronoun "was," a verb "found," and another article "a," another noun "package," and one preposition "in," and one more article "the," and one more noun "park." You must have studied about the parts of speech like noun, verb, adverb and adjective, etc. during basic school levels. Now let's move on to the next topic, agreement. What is agreement? The grammatical connection between two grammatical categories is called the agreement. As the subject Kathy agrees with the form of a verb, loves chocolate. This agreement is partially based on the category of number, tense, person, gender. Grammatical gender. A grammatical category describing the class of a noun as masculine, or feminine, or neuter, in contrast to other types of gender. Grammatical gender is based on the type of noun, as masculine and feminine, and is not tied to natural sex, as male and female. A young girl is biologically female, but the German noun das Mädchen used to talk about her is grammatically neuter. The French noun in Le Livre, the book, is grammatically masculine, but neither we nor the French people consider a book to be biologically male. Next, the prescriptive approach. This is an approach to grammar that has rules for the proper use of the language, traditionally based on Latin. Some familiar examples, prescriptive, rules for English sentences are: the infinitive in English has the form to plus the base form of the verb, as in to go, and you must not split an infinitive, and you must not end a sentence with the preposition. Following these types of rules, traditional teachers would correct sentences like "Who did you go with?" to "With whom did you go?", making sure that the preposition "with" was not at the end of the sentence. And "me and my family" would certainly have to be corrected to "my family and I." And, in proper English writing, one should never begin a sentence with "and." Descriptive approach. This approach to grammar is based on a description of the structures actually used in a language, in contrast to the prescriptive approach. Structural analysis. The study of the distribution of grammatical forms in a language is known as structural analysis. It is a type of descriptive approach. The method involves the use of test frames that can be sentences with empty slots in them. For example, "The Desh makes a lot of noise," and "I heard a Desh yesterday." Only any of the nouns like car, child, donkey, dog and radio can tie into these slots to produce good grammatical sentences of English. A noun phrase only can fit into the slots like "Desh makes a lot of noise" and "I heard Desh yesterday." Phrases such as "it," "the big dog," "an old car," "Ani DeFranco," "the professor with the Scottish accent," can fit into these slots. We can now see that it is more accurate to say that pronouns are used in place of noun phrases, not just in place of nouns. By developing a set of test frames of this type, and discovering which forms tie the slots in the test frames, we can produce a description of at least some aspects of the sentence structures of a language. The next type of analysis is constitutional analysis. The analysis of how small constituents or components go together to form larger constituents in sentences are called constitutional analysis. One basic step is the determination, and we determine how words go together to form phrases. In the sentence "an old man brought a shotgun to the wedding," we can identify 9 constituents at the word level. We can see that noun phrases "an old man," "a shotgun," "the wedding," and 1 prepositional phrase, "to the wedding," and 1 verb phrase, "brought a shotgun," combine together to form the sentence. Using this kind of diagram, we can determine the types of forms that can be substituted for each other at different levels of constituent structure. One advantage of this type of analysis is that it shows rather clearly that proper nouns or names and pronouns, though they are single words, still can be used as noun phrases, and they can lines the same constituent space as longer phrases such as "an old man." Labeled and bracketed sentences. Constituents of sentence can also be marked off by using the labeled brackets to show structure of the sentence. The first step is to put brackets on each side round each constituent, and then more brackets round each combination of constituents, for example. With this procedure, the different constituents of the sentences are shown at the word level, the or dog, at the phrase level, the dog or loved the girl, and at the sentence level, the dog loved the girl. We can then label these constituents by putting the abbreviated grammatical terms beside each bracket that marks the beginning of a constituent, for example, art for article, V for verb, N for noun, VP for verb phrase, NP for noun phrase, and S for sentence. Next, we have subjects and objects. We use the term subject and object to describe the different functions of noun phrases in a sentence. Since English uses position in the sentence to indicate grammatical function, we can normally identify the subject as the first noun phrase before the verb, and the object as the noun phrase after the verb. The other phrase at the end of our example sentence, often a prepositional phrase, which typically provides additional information such as where, when, or how the subject verb ed the object. There are a number of ways in which we can distinguish between noun phrases used as subjects versus objects. In addition to position differences, the subject is frequently the person or thing that the sentence is about, and often the one that performs the action of the verb, whereas the object more typically represents the person or thing that undergoes the action. And we can see similar descriptions of sentences in other languages such as Gaelic, Japanese, or Spanish, and see clearly what structural differences exist. The subject-noun phrase determines the form of the verb as singular or plural. English also makes a clear distinction between pronouns used as subjects one, he, and those used as objects me, him. Word order. The linear order of constituents in sentences is said to be the word order. The basic linear order of constituents in English is noun phrase, verb, noun phrase, or NP, V, NP, and their typical grammatical functions are subject, verb, object, or SVO. The English word order sequence is not the only possible or even the most common word order among languages. The most common pattern is actually subject, object, verb, or SOV. And Japanese is a verb-final language. In verb-initial languages, the sentence begins with the verb. Scottish Gaelic has a verb-subject-object O, VSC order, and Malagasy, spoken in Madagascar, has a verb-object-subject VOS order. Note that in Gaelic and Malagasy the adjective is placed after the noun, literally translated as dogbe. Language typology. Language typology is the study of word order patterns of languages, such as S, V, O, or V, O, S. This is the study of similarities in the grammatical structures of languages that allow them to be classified as members of the same type or group. The other two possibilities, O, S, V and O, V, S, have been documented in a small number of languages in South America. To conclude, George Yule writes, one advantage of studying grammar is that it may help explain some of the problems second language learners face when they try to acquire a language that simply does not have the same structural organization as their first language. By helping students and teachers notice critical grammatical differences of this type between languages, we may be able to develop better awareness of what the learning task is and what might be beneficially included in language teaching materials. Dear students, we have completed the chapter number 7, Grammar. Thank you for watching the lecture. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and motivate us with your support to continue making further videos. See you soon in the next lecture. Goodbye.